This shower is hot, hot, hot.
I bet that's exactly what you said when you saw the thumbnail for this video. I've remodeled residential showers before, but doing it with an RV presents some different challenges. And I don't just mean nosy RV park neighbors. I'm going to show you how to get through those challenges and how to get this bad boy in your bathroom so you can glamp like you should be pulling this thing with a Rolls Royce, baby. Ah, yes, look what came in the mail. No, keep your eyes off my junk. Look down, my friend. See our new Dreamline brand shower in a box. To start our project, we first come to this to make sure we get the right measurements. Although the instructions will give the dimensions, it's wise to double check with your own measurements. We see the drain is 12 inches from the wall, and the lip of the shower is about 33 to 36 inches from the wall. That's important, because we're going to have to put up a shower door, and if you put up a nice shower door, you want to make sure that you can attach it to the wall. In this part of the video, our end goal is to get the wood into the walls so that the shower base and shower doors can be anchored to it. This is what it's going to look like at the end of the phase. The vertical pieces are for anchoring the shower doors, and the horizontal pieces are for anchoring the shower base. First, let's take our measurements for the shower lip and mark the line on the wall. Now here's one of the first challenges with working with an RV. Your RV may not be perfectly level, and using an actual level could possibly not help you. You may have to draw several marks on your wall to make a line between them to get a more accurate cut. In order to get our shower base anchored, we're going to add a 2x4 to the bottom of the wall all around. As you can see, being marked here, in order to get our shower base anchored, we're going to add a 2x4 to the bottom of the wall all around, as you can see being marked here. But what tool should you use to cut it? I think an oscillating multi-purpose tool is the best option here. It's not as invasive as other tools, and the blade only sticks out 1.5 inches, which incidentally is about the same exact thickness of the walls. So even if I were to push it in all the way, I shouldn't be able to cut the wall on the other side. Now when cutting in this case though, slow and steady is the way to go. Don't cut too deep and accidentally damage plumbing or wiring. This tutorial is not equipped to handle that problem, and your finances may not be either. After cutting the bottom, you'll note that it's an open cavity behind an inside wall, but the outside wall is filled with styrofoam insulation. This is our second challenge that makes RVs different. On top of that, we have metal studs there, which makes it a little bit more challenging. In fact, you might notice that there aren't too many places in this outside wall in general to attach our new studs to. We'll answer how to get past that problem just ahead. Since we need that insulation removed, we're going to start cutting it out with the tool that we have. Gouge out the sides, making sure not to cut the wall behind it. You can use a flat bar and a hammer to start removing it, but when enough is out, then come up with the blade of the multi-purpose tool against the back of the wall to cut it out from behind. Unless you like living like a slob, go ahead and vacuum your work area regularly. This is especially so if pieces of styrofoam get everywhere. Also take note that this insulation is literally going up against your outside exterior wall. So no matter what you do not risk cutting that wall for your life. Note here that I'm going to cut this wall out in a way where I can just stick a 2x4 up into it with no problems. As in, it's going to be 3.5 inches wide. If I'd thought ahead, I would have done the same on the other side. But once we have the two parts of the wall cut out, we're going to have to check and see if we have anything in the way of our putting plumbing up in the middle of the shower wall. So how do you even start to know where the plumbing should go? Well, we want the plumbing centered in the middle of the quote-unquote bowl part of the shower base. So if we get that measurement of that bowl, which is 30 5/8, and then we divide it by 2, that will get us the center of the bowl measurement. And that measurement is 15 5/16. However, we need to add the lip part that goes to the wall on the shower base, which is 2.25 inches. Therefore, when you add 2.25 to 15 5/16, the plumbing should be located at 17 9/16 off of the wall that we have there now. That lands my plumbing just to the left of one of the studs of the wall. We'll see how this affects this process later on. Oh, also, please take a moment now before we continue to like this video and subscribe for more RV related videos. If you also want to see more about how we remodel RVs in general, go to my wife's Instagram account called Vegan Runner Mommy. You're going to see some pretty cool fixer-up stuff we do. Not to mention, even ones that we post for sale. Hint, hint. Alright, so let's get back to the open cavity in the bottom of the wall. We want to stick some 2x4s in there so that we have material to really attach this shower to. But why 2x4s? Well, 2x material is actually 1.5 inches thick. Remember how deep that wall cavity is? This isn't a residential house where it's 3.5 inches thick. It's only 1.5 inches. So it's perfect for sticking a 2x4 in there. Now after measuring the correct lengths, make sure you awkwardly cut your wood, like myself, here instead of using a sawhorse. It's how the pros do it. But beware of the ninja bird clamp. Although I nail these 2x4s in with a nail gun, typically I'll come back and pop a couple screws in as well for more strength. You'll probably need to pre-drill the spots where you put in the screws. This is absolutely necessary for where we're putting the wood into the exterior wall. You know that annoying wall with the styrofoam? The only studs in there will be metal, so you absolutely need to pre-drill your screw so that you can attach it to the metal. Pop in a drill bit that's slightly less wide than your screw's width. Then, countersink the screw by pre-drilling a very short but wider hole so that when the screw goes in, it will at least sink completely under the surface. Before screwing it in, pull out the wood and add construction adhesive to the back, like liquid nails. In reality, there aren't many places to fasten this wood to, so that's why the glue is necessary. Push the wood in there, and then we can properly fasten it with screws in the pre-drilled holes we already made. Now, if I had thought about this ahead of time, I would have cut out a cavity in the wall that would fit a 2x4 perfectly on the exterior wall side. Unfortunately, I didn't cut it quite as wide, although it's in the right spot. To make up for this, though, I need to rip a 2x4 to be a little thinner, at which my circular saw said, "I got the black lung, Pa," and proceeded to take itself to the grave. Thank goodness I had a backup saw. After being cut to length, the ripped piece of wood fits inside the cavity. As you know, we should glue the back of it beforehand. Then we make sure it's fastened to the top metal stud and the bottom wood stud. Now, we have a third RV related challenge that we face with the interior wall. I need to get a stud in there, obviously, for the shower wall profile to be screwed into. But we have all these nails and screws in there from the other side that will keep the 2x4 from getting into the wall like we need. What do we do? Use a tool like this, which can be used for cutting wires. In this case, though, we'll be cutting the thinner nails with it. Sometimes it's better just to use leverage and pull the nails out through the wall with that tool. But that may be more than what we need with this. After all these are removed, that still leaves the thicker screws. And it's not so easy to just cut these. So I'm going to take my pre-cut 2x4, which I was going to stick in the wall anyways, and just stick it in there where I intended to go. And I'm going to bang on it lightly. When it's removed, look at the back. You should see some grooves or dimples on the back where the screws were hitting the 2x4. After identifying where they all are, take a relatively thick drill bit that's thicker than the screw itself and drill out those dimples into the 2x4. This way, when we put it back, those screws will slide into the 2x4 with no issues. Since this is an interior wall and there's a plethora of other studs that are available to fasten to, I have no need to add glue to this wood. Yes, can you feel it? It's time for a happy dance. Click the right link to keep the show rolling with part 2 of this video. Here we'll show how to handle installing all your plumbing. Now if you're new to gluing CPVC or PVC, click our other link which shows how to actually install this kind of piping before you get to part 2. If how to do the plumbing isn't really on your radar, like as in you've already got this, then go to part 3 where we explain how to build up your finished walls using Durarock, RedGuard, and a special tile that is ideal for using in RVs due to its light weight. Our final and fourth section will show installing the shower doors and the rest of the finished work. Now if you don't see the link in the video that you need, then go into the description below for that link. Again, check out Vegan Runner Mommy on Instagram to see how we turn ugly RV styles into beautiful residential style RVs. Lastly, you should know it's taken about 2 to 3 weeks of time to record and edit all these videos together, so please be an appreciative sport and leave an awesome comment below, because only awesome people leave awesome comments. Share this with your RV friends who seriously need shower upgrades like this video. Subscribe and check out our other RV tutorials, and catch you later.